Hey guys, welcome to Gardening with Creekside, and this is Jerry and Jackson edition today. To be honest with you, it's late in the afternoon. We've been working, and we're just now catching you up. So we've been working on this project over here, trying to lay it out to get some things going. And you can see we've got some heavy equipment here ready to go. Got the cat excavator, and we got the little bobcat, and we'll probably bring in the big boy here in a little bit. But I'm thinking, right behind me is we're at the garden center, and this is of course, the greenhouse right here. So in front, when we built this pad years ago, we cut it out, we raised it up, and it was up high, and all these different designs or whatnot, and it all just ended up here. So because of that, in front of the greenhouse here, we've had this slope, and probably all of the years and lots of pictures you can see. You can go on our website at gardeningwithcreekside.com, and you can see a slide that shows like where we would plant like all the plants and the annuals in that mulch bed that's right over my shoulder right here. Okay, so we get a lot of wash, a lot of water. It comes down through here, and we're just wanting to kind of tidy it up, make it look really nice. So we're building a rectangle, squared rectangle box with block and columns and the whole 9 yards. And then just today, because it was going to be more of a trapezoid look, narrowing and widening, but everything out here is square. Like there's squares, there's rectangles, there's nice lines in the signature garden. So we still wanted this section over here to be, kind of that look, right? So I laid out the lines. That's what we've been working on, is trying to come up with the redesign, and we're going to create in this far corner over here. So here is the highest side, sloping from the top to the bottom, and we wanted it to be 14 feet wide from this section here all the way over to this section. So, and the boxes are going to represent the columns that are going to go down this pink line. It's probably going to be kind of hard to see on the camera, but we've got some string lines rolling through here, going all the way down to the far end, at the end down there, kind of where that last box is. So there'll be 3 huge columns, 1, 2, kind of 2 in the middle, and the 3 on this end where I'm standing right now. We're going to use the same block that we used at the house last year. I'll go over there and show you that block in a second. But today, what the big change has been, is instead of it being angled back down to my lowest point, we're going to have to dig out some in here for that wall. But instead of digging all of this out, we're creating a tier. So we're going to have another wall up here, and then we're going to come on down, and then we're going to build another wall at the bottom, a planter. It's like a big, another rectangular planter box on this hillside. You might be able to see where I was playing around with the idea with the spray paint. So we're going to get the drone up here in a minute. We're going to get this sprayed out, and then we're going to get the excavator rolling on all that stuff. We'll walk over here and take a look at the block and the really cool caps that we're going to be using. And I want you to go ahead and start thinking about what we can do in that box, in that rectangular box, or some type of planting. Should it be annuals, perennials, all shrubs, mixture of both? Should we switch it out every year with annuals, kind of like we've done in the past? This is the cap that we're going to use on each one of the columns that we build. So they're like 3x3 bluestone, and then these are the regular caps here for the wall itself. And then we're using that bell guard system. It's 3 or 4 different design sizes. I think it's 3, 1, 2, and 3 here. So you can see we're using the Castle Manor Oxford color right here. So just like we did at the house. I like this system because I like having the different sizes of block, and I like that it is a pin system. I don't know, I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I might have another extra 10 pallets of block, maybe 10 and a half. I got some extra left over from the project from last year or 2 years ago. So I like this block because it's, you just piece it together. You can have random designs in it. You don't have to worry about, you know, being perfect or on your symmetry with all your different sizes. You just can create a different design look as you go down the row. But I also like the fact that it's a pin system, so you can just drop the pins. A lot of folks came over for the garden tour several weeks ago and were asking about, you know, how we, you know, designed the wall and how it was put together. Did we use cement? Did we use glue? And there are lots of systems where you have to use those types of material, but this one, you just drop the pins in and then the block sits right on top of the pins and it holds it all in. So ours will all be freestanding. They won't be staggered back. They'll be straight up and it'll look really nice. You'll have both sides. This block is a solid block, so you don't have to put the gravel in between your bigger block like you do with big retaining walls. You may have seen us do up at the production house. But anyway, we're going to get started here, spray out. We'll get Jackson on the excavator, start doing some trenching, and we're going to show you how to kind of use the laser level and that kind of jazz, and then we're going to go talk about some plants, okay? Okay guys, we've got that sprayed out. A lot of little action happened off camera. Trying to take a look at that after that initial spray. You're going to see a couple of ones I'm going to throw up. I'm pretty sure I got the drone footage on that. I did not necessarily like the second rectangle that was smaller towards the end and the sharp edge that it created. Without putting in some more tiers on the other side of that one. So we've kind of X'd that for now. And then we've added a triangle. So I'll show you. So you can probably see maybe from the drone footage, we've added this triangle in here instead of the rectangle, which I think, and I'm still gonna have that wall at the top, which will give us architecturally the rectangle that we were wanting to begin with. But then this section through here all the way up to connect to the wall up this way. So all the white lines are the walls. So this triangle in here will give us a nice cool different look instead of a harsh rectangle like what I had from the previous shot. So yeah, so the next thing is we're going to start. I don't know if we're going to get this done today or not. I know Jackson's eager over there on the excavator. I about had enough of this for today, but we're going to probably start in this section here and work our way all the way to the back, or from that section. Might be easier with the excavator to start back there and work our way out towards me, dig it out, trench out, gravel base, get the block in there, get everything level. That's gonna take some time. But you know, we kind of thought about that triangle because we have triangles on the fence, and we have, you know, of course, a rectangular pergola, but over here in the signature garden, we have triangles, triangle beds. all throughout the signature garden here. So this kind of look here mimics the signature garden, one triangle adding over to our front entrance. So over here in the garden, I think that will look nicely. I am going to sleep on that tonight before we start digging. I feel good about the top. If I wanted to get Jackson to do that, I might do that, get him to do that. We'll show it to you. But we'll come back to this on another day. Same video, just I'll be back in here in a little bit, but it's gonna be a different day on the digging part of that top tier up there. I'm gonna start getting ready to put our columns in. But I did mention that, what are we gonna do as far as, you know, plants go? So we could go with lots of evergreen shrubs, something like this Perfecto Mundo orange that we have. Let's put some 3-time-a-year color in there. We have kaleidoscope up on the hillside up there. Some type of abelia that's low growing. That was kaleidoscope. This here is radiance. That would look nice. The green up against the gray, you know. Nightlight from Southern Living Plant Collection. Adding some yellow in the space without, you know, a little bit more height, you know, to it. We have, of course, the Fire Chief Arborvitae's up at the house in the bed at the house that you've seen before. Probably won't do those down here. We do have, I don't have much Lord Petalum planted around except for over in the signature garden. This is Jazz Hands Pink. That 3 feet, 4x4 might look really nice, you know, in there, you know. Of course, boxwoods always look good with gray, dark green color. 2x2, 3x3, slow growing boxwood, new gen boxwood from Proven Winners Independence. One of my absolute favorites. So it is one of my favorite boxwoods to use. I do think the green will look nice. There's some sort of formal look to it, but we may not, you know, go that route. Could be sticking with, you know, your new introductions in the bed, some more perennials. You know, in the comments, and we'd like some ideas on that. If you guys wanted to kind of participate in helping with some ideas on what we could do. It's crazy. I was over here. I don't know why that water is in there. I just found a problem. Maybe we'll see. But we had tons of rain the last week, this week, whatever, and then how quickly your pots and your 3-gallon stuff can start drying out. We've gone a day or two without running the irrigation just to try to preserve some water and to let the guys dry out a little bit, but we'll have to run it this afternoon. We're getting ready to close here in just a second. But anyways, we're going to show you the dig, 6-8 inches down, gravel base, wash stone, start leveling up the block, that kind of thing. Once you get that first layer down, it is smooth sailing from that point on. So, but the top will be a little bit tricky because we got 3 big columns that we got to put in. I showed you that cap, you know, at the beginning of the video that we're going to use. It's like a 3x3 cap, and that's going to be a massive statement. We're going to have lights that go all the way around it. We'll put some lights in there, and I got to get power to it. So we got to make sure we're don't get ahead of ourselves, make sure we add our power line underneath the block and all that stuff and get access out to where we need to go. So yeah, that's where we're at, and we'll catch with you in just a second on the excavator, but it will be a new day. Okay guys, I'm back. I lied, told a bunch of stories and everything because we are not digging this thing out. I said I knew we had to walk away the other day, so we're back finishing up the video, and we did the triangle, okay, over here, and we sat on that over the weekend. Today's Monday. We were open on Saturday, doing lots of different things, so we've held off, and I'm glad we did not dig because we got hammered with a big rainstorm Saturday morning. I mean, we got like 3/4 on almost an inch within like 10 minutes. It came down, so all of our trenches would have been full of water. So anyways, we're going to hold off on that right now. So we're thinking about the triangle. The triangle is much easier, so just let me know what you think here. But also, I know a crescent moon would look really sharp and nice, but that means a lot of cuts to make the curve at the top, and I'm not really sure I want to wrap it all the way around. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But while we were walking and talking on Friday, okay, I was walking around and finished up the video, and I saw like all this water, and sure enough, we have like a major water leak right over here beside the shrub area. And we've this year we've been struggling just a little bit with the mow inside the interior of the signature garden, so I'm going to show you a cool thing we just got. But anyways, this guy over here is on Friday afternoon, the end of the day, we found the water hookup somehow inside this pipe was leaking, and it was coming out. So I had to cut off underground for this in case of this emergency, because this line goes all the way back to main water. Went to turn the cutoff, and the cutoff would not turn. So we released some pressure, and then went to do the cutoff again, and when I turned it, the handle broke. So even more water started coming out. So then here we are. It was Friday, it was hot, the shrubs were needing water, it was the end of the day, I had to have water. And then I was able to find the handle, kind of put the handle back on the turn off, cut off, and I was able to turn it back on. And it's weird. I turned it back on, and then it leaked less. So we just left it alone to make it through Saturday, and everything is going good. But today, it is leaking a good bit more, so we're going to dig it up in a few minutes. We've got the team up there watering in the greenhouses. We're going to cut all the water off and put a new cutoff on and get started with a new hookup. But what I want to show you, a cool little machine we bought, is this commercial 30-inch mower. It's a push mower, but it's self-propelled, so it'll just move right along on its own, and it's made by Exmark. Exmark's one of the top manufacturers of mowers in the United States, and some of the, what would you call it, Cadillac of mowers. So we got this guy just for the insides of the bed. So you could probably see a little bit. I don't know how well the camera is going to show it, but it gets really tall in here, and we got people that come and help us, you know, keep everything mowed. But there's been so many times during the week when we're open that the grass needs to be mowed, and they don't come back until Friday to mow. So it's good to have an option like this to keep this grass cut, and it's not a big machine going on these paths. So probably like a 2 or a 3 pass on this guy, this section here. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to take my blower, and I'm going to try to blow out these marks real quick, and then I'm going to then take the mower and I'll set it to 4 inches tall, and then mow it down. So this thing has a bagger catch. I'm not going to use the bagger. It has a plug that goes in the back, then turns the mower into a mulching mower. So what I like about it is that it's really easy to set your height on your wheels. You just pull it up, pull this out, set your height, put the wheel back, boom. Then on the other side over here, you've got a little pull up dial, and it sets your 3, 3.5, 4. So I'm going with 4. So I'll be ready to go on that here in just a few minutes. But I'm not going to bag this time because I'm just wanting to try to get it done. I'm going to grab the blower, and we'll get that going, and then we'll see how this goes, and I'll meet you back here in a second. So you might wonder what in the world I was doing there blowing. I haven't even started mowing yet, okay? It's gotten so tall in certain areas, and the other mower is pushing the grass down and not really mowing it. So some places it was like really tall, like it was right over here. And so I was trying to blow this up so that way our mower can get to it without having to maybe really mow it down. You would have to mow it down probably really short. We're going to have to do this in multiple steps, probably some today and some tomorrow, to get it right. Okay, so it's more of like a recovery situation. So 4 inches today, mulching. Maybe tomorrow we'll go down to 3 and run the bagger and collect the clippings. Okay, so let's get the Exmark going and we'll show you how that guy goes. Okay, we got our Kawasaki. This is a really great motor. So if you're looking for a mower, I would always recommend making sure your mower has a Kawasaki engine. It's on stop. We're going to go to choke and then we're going to give it a pull.
Kawasaki! I do need to adjust the speed handle on this guy because it's going at full throttle almost. And y'all must be like running while you're mowing.
Okay, that was a mow on the rapid pace. It's got some speed to it. What we've got to do is come over here and we've got to adjust this cable right here. And so that way we don't pull as much speed. You can kind of control it right here, but it's much easier to do. It needs to be about half that speed. Now, if you were like going all the way out to there, I would say that's a good speed to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set them down to 3. And I'm going to do this strip and see how it goes. And I'm going to run the bagger just as a test. This strip right here, I'm having a hard time getting rid of this mark. So I'm going to set the mower deck a little bit lower and see if I can get it out. But we'll see how that goes, and then I'll catch you back in a second. All right, guys, I'm ready to go here. I think I weigh about 5 pounds less with this beast, but good physical activity. It's got a good speed to it. We are going to adjust that speed on the cable, but if you look behind me, right down the road, I think that's a 3-inch mark, and that's starting to get out some of that overgrowth. What's happening is it's getting laid down, being mowed when wet, and it just keeps growing sideways. So you have like 5-inch, 6-inch tall grass. I think that's going to be good. I think for this garden, most time you want to keep a fescue at 4.5 inches tall. We really probably should go a little bit lower. It's the walking paths and that kind of stuff. So this mower is going to help with that. And then our team that comes in on Fridays can help us, okay? So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully maybe I won't lie to you again, and the wall will be starting that project along with many other projects we have going this season. So I will talk to you soon. Thank you.